Hello everyone and welcome to this MTG chat, this time guiding us through the revolution on the plane of Kaladesh as told through the story of the Aether Revolt, with the release document which dropped a day or so before that very controversial ban and restricted announcement this past Monday. Like previous chats, I welcome and enjoy reading your comments, concerns, and criticisms. If you feel like I've said something that needs clarification or correction, the comment box is down below. Aether Revolt contains 184 cards, 70 common, 60 uncommon, 42 rare, and 12 mythic that appear in booster packs, with an additional 10 cards that are available in the Aether Revolt Planeswalker decks. In addition, Masterpiece Series cards from the Aether Revolt set have been placed within those booster packs. Pre-release events for this set are scheduled for January 14th to 15th, with the launch weekend following on the 20th through the 22nd. Aether Revolt's game day is scheduled for the weekend of February 11th and 12th. As of Aether Revolt's release date of January 20th, the following sets will be allowed in Standard: Battle for Zendikar, Oath of the Gatewatch, Shadows over Innistrad, Eldritch Moon, Kaladesh, and Aether Revolt. Aether Revolt contains 2 new keyword mechanics, 2 5-color cycles, and 5 story sequence cards similar to the ones found in Kaladesh. In addition, Aether Revolt will also be reprising the energy counters, vehicle, and crew mechanics that were from Kaladesh. They were detailed in my previous Kaladesh MTG chat, which I highly recommend listening to if you need a refresher on how those abilities work. The first of the 2 mechanics is the Improvised keyword ability. Improvised states that for each generic mana in the spell's total mana cost, you may tap an untapped artifact you control rather than pay that generic mana. This ability is not an additional or alternative cost, instead applying only after the total cost of the spell is determined. Essentially, you can improvise after you've figured out exactly the total amount of mana to spend, and you've already drawn that mana from your mana sources, including artifact mana sources such as Darksteel Ingot. So at this point, within the steps to casting a spell, you've already decided what X is for spells with X in their mana cost, as well as determined additional costs such as discarding multiple cards or sacrificing permanents. You can't improvise during the resolution of soft counter abilities such as Mana Leak or Force Spike. Also, you can only use improvise to pay for generic mana costs, not colored or uncolored mana symbols within that spell's total cost. It's a very different ability from Convoke, which is how I'm hearing people describe this effect to me. Convoke allows for the payment of colored mana symbols within the spell's cost, given that you have tapped a creature of that particular color. Improvise does not do that, so please be aware of that. The second new mechanic is the Revolt Ability keyword. Abilities that begin with the Revolt keyword check whether or not a permanent you controlled left the battlefield in that turn. Yes, this does include tokens. No, this does not include energy counters. No, the game doesn't care where your permanent went, just that it left the battlefield. All of these Revolt abilities contain intervening if clauses that require conditions to be met. Otherwise, nothing will happen. So, if no permanents leave the field by the time the Revolt ability checks, then nothing will happen and the game progresses as normal. Aether Revolt contains 2 cycles, the first one being the Implement cycle. 5 artifacts with colored activation costs that draw you a card when they are placed into a graveyard from the battlefield. If you activate the ability stated on that card, sacrificing the artifact to pay the cost, you will draw the card, as said in the effect, prior to the first ability resolving. The second and more exciting cycle is the Expertise cycle. 5 colored sorceries named after the legendary creatures within Aether Revolt. Each spell has an effect and then allows you to cast an additional card from your hand for free. No, you can't play an additional land for free with this ability. The cards say cast, not play. The spell has to resolve before you can cast your free extra spell. I repeat, the spell has to resolve before you can cast your free extra spell. Please, when you cast these cards, when you use these cards in your games, try not to rush your opponent. It can cause lots of confusion and problems if both players aren't on the same page. If you are casting your free extra spell, and it's a spell with X in its mana cost, X will equal 0. You won't be able to pay with alternate costs such as Emerge, however, you will be able to pay additional costs such as Buyback or Kicker. If the free spell requires any additional mandatory payments such as discarding a card or sacrificing a creature, you will need to pay those costs to cast the card. When you have finished casting your free spell, the Expertise card will go into the graveyard, having completed all effects on the card, and will not be a valid target for those looking to copy the spell somehow. Triggers that arise while performing the Expertise card's first effect will be placed onto the stack after your free spell has been cast, and at the same time, any effects that triggered off the casting of the free spell would have been placed on the stack. Finally, Wizards has recreated 5 pivotal moments in the Aether Revolt story within 5 story spotlight cards, where you can check out these stories on MTGstory.com if you want to dig deeper into the deepest lore that is Aether Revolt. So, in recap, the new set Aether Revolt has pre-releases which are this weekend, January 14th to 15th. Check out my Kaladesh MTG chat if you're interested in the energy counters, vehicles, and crew mechanics. Finally, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, like and share it around. If you have any questions or concerns, the comment box is below, and if you enjoy the sound of my voice, consider subscribing to the channel. I update frequently and on a variety of different games. Thanks again. I will see you when I see you.